ladies, and well, about gangsters. I mean, look at this thing. This is definitely the Gibson Thug, with its old school tattoo on the headstock and the brass fist inlay. Never mind, let's have a listen to it. And yes, then we'll have a look round. Okie dokie, let's go. Pick up time, and we'll start with the distorted setting at the bridge. Why does that keep doing that? Anyway, right, so yes, we'll start with the bridge. Crikey. Into the centre. And onto the neck. Let's say in the cleanup. And starting with the with the bridge end again. Super. Into the centre. And onto the neck. Smoky coils, what can I tell you? Let's have a look round. So yes, we've got the Gibson Menace, Gibson's version of a thug. And mind you, I suppose that 335 is a bit of a thug really, with its single dirty fingers thingy in. So what have we got? We'll go from top to bottom, as we should, really. So, at the headstock here, as you can clearly see, we've got an old school tattoo with definitely the most unusual Gibson logo that I have seen. And I wanted one of these for ages, but I've had it for a couple of years now, so, you know, I'm a bit fickle, if I'm honest. Yes, so round the back we have got Grover tuners, and I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's light enough. It's because it's only 3 o'clock and it's going dark already, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, for 1 year only, 2008. I don't think there were that many produced, and it's an all mahogany neck with, and I like these. You know, I like these. It's got an ebony fretboard. The fretboard again has got yet another unique feature to it. It's only got one inlay at the 5th fret, and it's got a brass fist. How very, you know, punchy, if you like. Also, the fret wire is brass coloured. Now, whether the fret wire is actually brass or not, I don't know. I've been on all the forums, and I did see a reply from Gibson that just says, we normally make fret wire out of nickel or nickel silver, and so whether it's brass or whether it's coloured, Gibson weren't helpful, as they tend not to be, and they wouldn't give a definitive answer. Nor would they give a definitive answer moving swiftly down to the pickups. As you can see, they call these the brass stud pickups. I don't know what are the palm pieces a little bit brassy. Perhaps they are, but again, you can see through the bobbins are clear, and you can see the windings underneath. So whether they're copper windings or again it's just, you know, whatever material they used and they made it look that colour, I can't say for certain, and apparently neither can Gibson. But they do call them smoky coils, and they are 498T and a 490R, and this is popping out 13 something, and this is in that lovely late 7s sweet spot that we like. That's just right for your neck pickup. So I'm quite certain that the tribal carvings here will not have eluded you, and the ones in the bottom here, and there is. It's a bit of something going on with the paint here. I can't imagine what's happened to that, but there you go. Because it's not as though it's in a picking area, especially. I mean, nobody picks down here, do they? Do you know what? It almost looks as though, I don't know, it looks as though something might have dribbled. It wasn't me, honestly. So, anyway, now, very interestingly, even more interestingly, Trogly actually did a review of one of these, and his programme was called something like When a Refinish Goes Right. And somebody would take one of these and they'd put a burst, like a green anaconda burst in the centre, and it looked wonderful. Make no mistake, have a look at that if you can find it. If I can remember how to do a link, I'll put a link into it. It looked astonishing. So, yes, and around the side, we've got these carvings too. Very, you know, it's almost a bit Mad Max really in some ways, I think. Is it Mad Max meets The Sopranos or something along those lines, I guess. So there's no push-pull trickery. You've just got 4 speed knobs, 2 volumes up at the top and 2 tones obviously lower down. Around the back there is there's a little bit of worming, but not a great deal. Not a great deal going on. So yes, mahogany neck. Let's have that off. So mahogany neck with ebony fretboard, mahogany body, so with a maple cap that of course has got carvings in it. So in that regard it is a very traditional construction. it ain't heavy. I've not weighed it, but it doesn't weigh as much as the Studio. So yeah, quite a decent choice to have around your neck all night. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, how on earth, how the blazes does one know where one is on the fretboard without the markers? Well, I found it very intuitive, because, and I do look down, as you know, you see me looking down, seeing what I'm playing, and what I realised is that actually I never look at the fret markers, but what I do look at is the dots on the side, the fret dots on the side there. See, got on the, that tells you where your mitts need to be. Although of course there are a great many people who don't look at all, they just seem to know where they are. I never know where I am. As soon as I get out of Blackpool, I'm lost. I couldn't find my own backside with both hands. So yes, all in all, an absolutely terrific thing. Loads and loads of power, loads of sustain. Very, very, very different, very unique. You know, really, they're probably a little bit collectible now. What was it, 14 years old, and this one happily comes with its original hard shell case. It's a proper Canadian Gibson stamped up, so I guess it'll be a TKL, and it's incredible. Oh, the action, the string height is just actually it's just a hair or two perhaps under 1.25. Normally I set them at 1.25, but for some reason this went a bit lower. It wasn't intentional. That's just what happened. But it played absolutely fine with no buzzing or choking or any of that caper. So if you can find one, you know, all blacked out hardware, yes, if you can find one, you'll have done remarkably well. I think there's one for sale in Japan. Yeah, I think there's one for sale in Japan. Right, okay. So with all of that said, oh yeah, and this one as well, on the usual auction site. So, with all that said, I shall bid you a fond farewell. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Adios amigos. Ta-ra.